What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got another Conor Oberst reaction. This time his album Upside Down Mountain, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Caitlin. Thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us anyway, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We're approaching 2,500 videos. Couldn't do it without the patrons. All right, last month I did Conor's self-titled debut album. Go check that out afterwards. It's in the Bright Eyes playlist I have below. Got a ton of Bright Eyes stuff that Caitlin and a couple of our other patrons have brought. But this one is his sixth studio album, released in May of 2014. The record, according to Conor, is a return to an earlier style of his songwriting. He explains that the album is about language. This is Conor, quote, "It is more intimate or personal, if you will. Even if all my songs come from the same place, you make different aesthetic decisions along the way. For me, language is a huge part of why I make music. I'm not the greatest guitar player or piano player. I'm not the greatest singer either, but I feel if I can come up with melodies I like that are fused with poetry I'm proud of, then that's what I bring to the table. That's why I'm able to do this." That's a really good description of Conor there. Debuted at 19 on the Billboard 200 chart. That was the highest it made it there. 6 on the top rock albums chart. Number 1 on the folk albums chart. Marks his first number 1 on that chart. Went to 55 in the UK. Of course, all songs are written by Conor. If you haven't watched one of these videos before, the music will not be in the video, but it'll be at a Vimeo link below. So go check that out. Let's kick this thing off. And we start out with Time Forgot. Conor said, "It's a dream many Midwesterners have, or maybe you haven't, but I have. You know, moving to California and kind of an imagined escape. I think many people around the world have that dream at some point in their lives of moving to California, beach, sun, nice weather all the time, so I can get that." All right, I'm going to the lyrics up, as always. Very important for Conor. Thanks again, Caitlin. Time Forgot, a fantastic opener, man. That repeating little weird thing in the background reminded me a little bit of 2005's Digital Ash and the Digital Learn. Got a reaction to that one up, courtesy of Caitlin as well. Reminded me a little bit of that. I was trying to figure out kind of what was going on there. But Claire and Joanna Soderbergh, fantastic backing vocals on there. But the song itself, you know, I mean, Conor kind of said what it was about, but he's kind of trying to get away, right? And find, you know, his own paradise, so to speak, because it starts out saying that he can kind of do whatever he wants. He finally feels free. He can shave or not. He can walk in that howling wind till it scatters all my thoughts. Then verse 2, you know, it's got some pretty strong stuff in there. They say everyone has a choice to make, to be loved or to be free. I told you once I felt invisible, and I'm sure by now you've seen that's what I meant, is I'm not all there until I finally leave. Some loneliness is acceptable, and some's just outright mean. So I just, some difficult stuff there. Then verse 3, boarded a train to take my memories back, make up for time that I've lost. I'll never know if I'm delusional. I just believe that I am not. I'm going to work for my sanity. So does he believe, you know, some of the mental issues that he's had? Is that really true or is it not? Because people tell you that enough, you start to believe it's true. He doesn't know. Give it everything I've got. Though so far I've cheated death, I know someday I'll get caught just living. So he just kind of finishes out through there. I thought the soundscape was beautiful. Thought he sounded really good. And as usual, Conor's lyrics are 100% on point. Now we go to Zigzagging Toward the Light. Zigzagging Towards the Light, obviously much more upbeat musically than Time Forgot, but also really good. I don't know, you know, I mean, I read all the lyrics and try to decipher them all, but sometimes it's tough, especially with Conor stuff, because it's so in-depth. You know, I think he just doesn't want to walk that straight line into the light. He's doing all these other things, you know, chorus, the second chorus, and then how the circumstances change feels unmistakable with no idea from where it came. But you know, you will know when it's gone. Zigzagging through the night, half dead. You sing your Bounder song, which talks about the Bounder song in here quite a bit. But thought that was really good. Thought the arrangement fit this song really well. Just kind of drove you through it. So we got the lead single, Hundreds of Ways. Conor did a guest column in Q Magazine, which was called The Guide to his new album, Upside Down Mountain. I mean, that's what it was called. So I'm going to have several quotes from that Q Magazine article in it. From now on, I'm just going to call it the Q Magazine article. He wrote about this song. He said, quote, "It's a song of encouragement, maybe for myself or someone else. The idea that you just have to keep going, even when you are covered in mud and I'll clean it up stuff. Your options are limitless once you take the yoke off and believe you are free. And the truth is everyone you have ever looked up to was just making it up as they went along." There's some wisdom there. All right, Hundreds of Ways. So this song is kind of a contradiction for me because Parts of it I really enjoy. I think the writing's great. I think Conor sounds good. I'm not sure I love the arrangement in certain parts, right? I'm not sure I love the horns, which our boy Nate Walcott's in here playing the trumpet. We also got a sax and a trombone. Of course, we got a pedal steel from Joshua Grange. So it has a little country tinge, which I was fine, but it seemed kind of like we were going through different styles inside the song arrangement wise. So I didn't love that. It was distracting to me. I think the lyrics are fantastic, which is not a surprise. But hundreds of ways to get through the days. Like you got to find a way to get through the days, you know. And he just kind of talks about, you know, like it took centuries to build these twisted cities. It took seconds to reduce them down to dust. Don't look so forlorn. Don't look so scared. Don't get so upset. This world was never fair, but there are hundreds of ways to get through the days. There are hundreds of ways. Now you just got to find one. So I used to think that time was of the essence. Now I just wish I could get some sleep. Some fantastic lyricism. Verse 4, sometimes I get mistaken for this actor and guess that I can see it from the side. Maybe no one really seems to be the person that they mean to be. I hope I am forgotten when I die. That's a gut punch of a line. But I think all of us are actors to an extent, right? We let people see what we want them to see, but most of us never let people see our true self, right? We're this person with this one person and this person with not necessarily a hypocritical or being two-faced. It's just this person may want me to act this way, right? My parent may want me to act this way. My significant other may want me to act this way. I want to make them happy. So this is what I'll be for them. And so in that, you can lose yourself. So, great lyrics. I don't dislike the song. I just would change it up a little bit in the mixing of it, the final mixing of it. But, they didn't ask me. So, all right. Go to artifact number 1. Now, Conor wrote about this song all the way up in 2014. He said it's a love song, plain and simple. Some people leave their fingerprints all over the scene of a crime. Some just disappear to where even the 6 o'clock news can't find them. But real love trumps all. Paper, rock, or scissors don't stand a chance. Crushes wins every time, even through a gnarly delay pedal. All right. Artifact number 1. One of the things I definitely love about, quote, singer-songwriters, master lyricists, is that the songs go so quick, right? That's a 4-minute, 20-second song. And I look down, I'm like, wow, it's already over because I'm following along with the lyrics as it's telling you a story. This one's beautifully done. Almost had a Spanish-style guitar there towards the end. Just a little bit of that Latin persuasion, but just beautifully done. And the song itself, the writing is fantastic. What would it take to gain acceptance to the grounds behind your eyes? I'm open to suggestion. The one you made, we never tried. Verse 2, they stood on the banks of the Potomac. We watched the water rushing by. You said we should live in the moment, but then I'd miss you all the time. And the chorus, and I know no one will believe me, but I don't want a second chance to be an object of desire. If that means slipping through your hands. I think he means there that he'd rather not even love her if it's going to mean this pain. But I could be wrong, but I'd rather not even go there. If I tried to make you mine, you would have walked away. Life can't compete with memories. They never have to change. And I think that's part of we remember back on things sometimes. And your brain is a wonderful thing. And sometimes you'll remove a lot of the difficulty in those memories and you just remember the really good stuff. Oh, that was great. You kind of just, as time goes on, you romanticize things, whether it's a relationship, a place, a job, whatever, right? A person, it doesn't matter, but you remember all the good stuff and you kind of forget, oh yeah, there was that. That was the reason. So, I think he's talking about that. He just remembers all of these good things. The outro, I keep looking back for artifacts to prove that you were here. The sound that's been keeps echoing. It never disappears. So he's looking for these things that reminds him of her. But that was a great song. Some of us know what this feels like. Lonely at the top. I'm just messing with you. In the Q magazine, Conor said this about this song. He said, another love song, but also about the human condition. I'm a rock, I'm an island kind of thing. But mixed with the opposite of freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. When you love someone or something, you have everything to lose. You are scared of your own shadow. It's kind of a predominant theme with Conor there about, the relationship and the fear you're going to lose. I think we all have that fear, right? So put a very good way. All right, one way at the top. So this had that same country feel, but more traditional feel than Hundreds of Ways. So I like the arrangement much better on this one. Hundreds of Ways is probably a better song, but I like the arrangement. Therefore, I like this song, I guess, better than Hundreds of Ways. But you get the album title in the very first line here. It's lonely at the top of that upside mountain, right? Upside down mountain, whatever. Watch the sunrise from a windowless room. If the paramedics stall, If the paramedics stall, the soul goes on without them in a wicker basket tied to a balloon. So he does this cool little flip of that, right? Because there's a saying you're going to go to hell in a handbasket, but instead you're in a wicker basket tied to a balloon. So you're actually ascending when you pass away. There are no boundaries to love. The heart can't comprehend the panorama. And then I took it on the chin from some second-hand feeling. Sorrow handed down to me. I felt brand new. Of course, on this one, he goes, freedom's the opposite of love. You'll never keep it through the paranoia. And then I'm standing on the edge of a million landscapes. And the chorus, next chorus, there is no dignity in love. Trade every scrap to get some absolution. Till then, I'm walking out the door. Till then, I'm running through the airport. Till then, I'm waiting around for no one. So he's had his heart broken, and he's all alone, and he's not really looking for anyone else right now. Next up, we have Enola Gay. I mean, the Enola Gay was the plane that dropped the atomic bomb in World War II. I doubt that Conor's writing about that, but I'm sure it's one of his clever word plays. All right, Enola Gay, nice little short song on that one, but he, as usual, Conor packs a lot into it. Starts out, he didn't give you that nickname, but you smile when he calls you Enola Gay. Like, that's quite the nickname that you put on somebody. Turns the lights down low for your migraines and kind of goes on. From that, the chorus, this world's mean, getting meaner too. So why'd you have to make it all about you? There's no harm in stepping to the side. Know what you got to do. It's just a matter of pride till you vanish like the rest, out of sight and out of mind. In verse 2, a little mention of Charles Manson. Conor says, been working all day in the control room, mashing Charles Manson songs up with show tunes, because Charles Manson, besides being a horrific, evil human being, also was into music. That's a whole nother thing. Got in with one of the Wilson boys from the Beach Boys, and some people wonder if his music career would have taken off. Would he have been what he was? Probably he would have been, because he's evil as it gets. The feelings come quick, but they leave as soon, like music from a passing car. It's crowded in the club where you meet your friends. I'm trying to save some room for the elephant. Every day's a chore, and you're not done yet. You didn't think it'd be this hard. So I don't think he means the elephant in the room, which some people say. I think it's, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Like, you have all of this stuff to do. Right? A lot of us deal with this. We got this whole huge to-do list. How am I going to get it all done? You got to take a deep breath and relax. Shel Silverstein, I think, was the first one to mention this in one of the books. But that, you just got to take a little bit of it at a time. Just relax. Just look at the little thing in front of you. So that's what he's trying to say there. And the road's begun. We're a nervous crew. So why are you trying to make it all about you? It's not so bad. It's just a flash of light. The rain's upset. It just falls apart. You'll get your wish. It's just a matter of time until you vanish like the rest, out of sight and out of mind. Like, you're going to die like all the rest of us. It's not all about you. Relax. Next up, we have Double Life. In that Q magazine article, Conor said, this is the first song I wrote after I got married. It's about transitions and fear. Everything we're doing in life involves some kind of leap of faith. This is true, right? No one can guarantee anything in this world. You have to take your best guess and trust your instincts and just get on with it. Follow your nose all the way home if you can. Double Life. I pointed out at the start, I usually don't talk over these songs just because that's just not my style. I don't like to do that unless I really think something needs to be said. That wah-wah pedal on the guitar was subtle in the last song. This one, it was all about the wah-wah, right? I thought George Harrison had appeared, which in a good way, like, it really went to the song. Now, I don't know. I mean, Conor's attributed to guitars on all these songs. There's just a plethora of musicians on this playing all kinds of different things. I mean, you got Jonathan Wilson on guitar in here and Andy LeMaster. So I would guess it's one of those doing the wah-wah pedal, but I don't know. But I mean, it really did lend an interesting texture to this entire song, right? And I think he's talking about, since he wrote it when he just got married, the double life of, I got to be this out here, kind of what we were talking about earlier, but behind closed doors, I get to be me. Because it starts out, it ain't perfect. Nothing is. There's still room to grow. Feeling different, staying in, made a little home. So when I sit back in my chair as the evening wanes, I don't remember getting here, but I'm glad I came. I don't remember how I got into this marriage, but I'm glad it's here. Don't look down, just cross the bridge. And when you get there, you'll know why you did. There's a better life on the other side. It's your double life on the other side. It's your second life on the other side. So I think that what he could be with his wife compared to what he had to be around everyone else. So I think that's kind of the breakdown of the song, but really well done. Next up, we have Kick. In that Q Magazine article, he said, this song is total projection. I imagine what this person's life might be like based off a few minutes I spent with her in a crowded bar and some scattered tabloid journalism. It's almost certainly and completely inaccurate on every level, but hey, it's a catchy tune. And considering what her family's been through, it's surely not the worst thing ever uttered about them. Mad empathy is what I was going for. All apologies. So supposedly, I guess I found another place. He's talking about RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s daughter, Kathleen Kennedy. But I don't know if that's true. And I've obviously sung about somebody whose family's famous and has been through a lot. Okay, Kick, definitely about a Kennedy. I guess it's probably about Kathleen Kennedy for sure. Now that I see it, it just talks about the Kennedys, right? And what it would have been like growing up in a fishbowl like that. Of course, I thought we lost that Camelot. So, it's definitely about the Kennedys. You should go away for a little while. Playing in there in therapy. Tabloids at the tragedy is profit once the word gets out. Tabloids at the country store. I thought that was really good. And he said, I don't believe in curses, but I just might now. And then the last bridge, Kick, this life is rich, but pleasure's not the same as happiness. If you don't collide with the traffic in your mind, I think you'll find your way out of this. I hope you find your way out. So Kickma is obviously the name of Kathleen Kennedy that he's using there. He's addressing her like, just keep pushing through, just keep persevering, right? We go to Night at Lake Unknown. Conor says the title of the song was taken from the iOS app Naturescape, which is intended to help people sleeping. His wife gave him an iPhone and put the app on the phone because he has trouble sleeping. Night at Lake Unknown is one of the sounds you can choose. Night at Lake Unknown, just a gorgeous arrangement on this one, right? You had a vibraphone, you had a flute, you had a clarinet, and of course Joshua Grange on the pedal steel. His last appearance on pedal steel, but don't worry, there's going to be another pedal steel. It's just not Joshua Grange on here, but some heartbreaking lyrics, right? Some really, really, personal lyrics, I'm sure, as a lot of these are to Conor, but it don't take much imagination to see the picture frame. I don't need my concentration to know when I'm in pain. And then, of course, when I lost myself, I lost you by extension. I don't know who would stand to gain. These silly dreams aren't worth a mention, but they keep collecting my brain. Went on the hunt for fame and fortune, picked up the trail just fine. Everywhere I go, the doors fly open, but I want out once I'm inside, right? Be careful what you wish for. But now you're already there. You can't get out. Once you're famous, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And then, of course, when I break my heart, I know that yours gets broken. I just wish that kept me in line, but I can't live outside the moment, and it just keeps leaving me behind. And then the last course, I drift away. It's Night at Lake Unknown. I'm floating. I see it all for what it is. Most anything can be forgiven. What is left will have to live. So a really well-written song. All right, we're up to our 10th track. We got You Are Your Mother's Child, written for the soundtrack of a film called Stuck in Love, which was scored and arranged by Conor's bandmates, of course, Mike Mogus and Nate Walcott from Bright Eyes. Wow, really powerful song. You Are My Mother's Child. It was written for the movie, so it was not written from Conor's viewpoint of something that happened to him, I don't think. But he starts out remembering when the child was born, right? He takes it through verse by verse. The kid was sick. They took him back. Wonder if he's going to be better. Then the chorus, first chorus, broken bones heal if you set them right. Get your fine-tooth comb from the barbicide. Our love's a protected poison, right? So love it's meant for good. Sometimes it cannot be not so good. But you are your mother's child, and she'll keep you for a while. Oh, one day you'll be grown. Then you'll be on your own. So it's sung by a male singer. So it's not your father's child. You're your mother's child, right? So the mother is raising the kid. And then we get verse 3, the Halloween costume. Verse 4, playing baseball. Then another chorus, tears will dry if you give them time. Life's a roller coaster, keep your arms inside. So you're going to have pain in this life, but just kind of keep pushing through and it'll be all right. Fear, that's a big emotion, but you're your mother's child, so revisits that. And then he's graduating. Don't know what you're going to do, but I know you're going to make a big splash. And find you a sweetheart to treat you so kind. Take her to dinner and kiss her goodnight. What I couldn't teach you, son, you'll realize she's the only thing that matters. And then the last chorus, you kind of find out what's going on. Although he's a bastard, make your papa proud. You're a fine young man. And I got no doubt that you're going to do this better. But you're your mother's child. But you were grown, and now you're making it on your own. Now that you're grown, may you never feel this alone. So just a fantastic progression of life through there. It shows the mastery of Conor's writing. Next up, one of the few songs I have nothing on. We got Governor's Ball. Governor's Ball, another rich soundscape here. Nate Walcott's back on that trumpet, on the piano, on the organ, and on the keyboard all in this. Nate's putting in some Bright Eyes work here. You got some trombone. You got some saxophone. Mike Mogus on the pedal steel on this one. Karina, his wife at the time, over here on a little backing vocal. She had all kinds of stuff on this. The Governor's Ball was, some people think he's talking about the concert, New York City concert in 2012, kind of a mellowed down, Woodstock, and he's kind of describing this. And eventually he's kind of in, I don't know if he's in a drug-induced state or not. It sort of seems like he can't decide whether he's going to buy this jewelry from this girl or not. And verse 3, when he never came back and the curfew had passed, his friends searched the fairgrounds for clues, but the security guard with a maniacal laugh said, "It's always the leader you lose." Finally turns up with a black eye. They asked him what had happened and why on earth he'd abandoned them so soon. And he said, "Why not? I do what I've got to do, and so should you." So tells him, "Don't worry about me, worry about you." All right, we got 2 songs left. We got Desert Island Questionnaire in that Q magazine. Here is what Conor said. He said, "This is a song about modernity and the good versus evil tug of war of the universe. It asks some age-old questions and doesn't answer them, which I hate. I think despite all our technological advances in communication, humans are the loneliest they've ever been. I fear for the future. I fear for you. I fear for myself." I remember this album's from 2014. We're almost 10 years later at the time I filmed this in 2023, and those fears are even greater. And all the studies tell you that we are the loneliest we've ever been, even though we have all these methods to, quote, connect. So Conor ahead of his time. Desert Island Questionnaire. I know I'm a broken record, so to speak, on here, but what a song, man, the way it was written. He starts out with the old "say you're stranded on a desert island." That's kind of the motif he frames the song in, right? What books would you bring along? What friends would tag along? Say you had a month, you knew you were dying. How'd you spend your time? What goodbyes would take so long? Verse 2, staring at your phone at another party. Spend a lot on clothes, got a lot of skin to show. People in the pool like a drowning army. Smoke alarm remotes and the hotel lobby glows. Keep tapping on the glass because you want to make a toast to the selfishness in everyone you know. So, we're in our own world, right? We're in the phone, but we're in our own world. Like I said, Conor is ahead of his time, man. And then, of course, one made a lot of friends, but they can't be trusted. Don't know what their angle is. And then he's posted up at a bar, double-fisted, one drink after another, talking to a mannequin. I don't know what it means when he takes my pulse and says I'm a lot like him. I say that's fair enough. That's why I'm trying to loosen up. And then verse 3 is just a dark verse, and every lunatic must be well-intentioned, sets himself apart. He's an instrument of God, but then he kills this girl in a cellar. So course 3, everyone's asleep in this burning building, and I can't wake them up in time. You go on ahead. I'll be right behind you. We're headed to the finish line. I can't get closer till this is over. I don't think it's a real burning building. It's metaphorically, right? This earth, this world is on fire. And he can't wake people up. At the very end, the pilot's going to crash, right? The pilot on the plane that's going to spell out something is going to crash. No one's going to cry at this John Doe funeral. Not a lot to say. Didn't even have a name. Light a candle just in case he was someone's friend. Throw some flowers on the grave. Maybe the futility of life. I don't know, but a really, really deep, well-written song. We're going to finish this off with Common Knowledge. Common Knowledge. What a way to end this album, right? I mean, this is all talking about Conor, right? He starts out, he's my friend, but he's no friend to me. Ask him why, he'll tell you casually. Washed up, bitter, broken, busted, backstabbed everyone he trusted, says he has what no one else can see. And he's talking about himself throughout this. And just as he delves it out. Verse 2, he's always sad, but I've never seen him cry. When he comes to, sure, he'll apologize. Find his car, assess the damage. Still drunk, he likes a challenge. So drunken and crashed his car. Fill you with some common knowledge. Things when we were young, we never tried. Just figured we had time with such a long life. And then he kind of goes into a adult establishment, right? He's in the champagne room. How bittersweet is love's illusion, feelings that cannot be proven. Trust me, you'll see my aim is true. I did this all for you. I suffered long for you. And then in verse 4, the last verse, so the last thing he wants to say on this album, so many times he tried to play it straight, worked and worked until his body ached. But a brand new life can lose its luster. Troubles tend to find each other, right? Misery loves company. Call it luck or you can call it fate, but either way, it's how it happened, not the life that you imagine. So just go out with a bang like Hemingway, which, I mean, Hemingway shot himself when he was 62 years old because he was in so much pain from being in 2 plane crashes. So what a line. Some will say you're brave. Some will say you ain't. So that's how he finishes this album. Very sparse instrumentation, the acoustic, and Conor for the most part, which is perfect because it really draws you in to those lyrics. Now we're going to get to my favorite songs. Honorable mentions, we got Night at Lake Unknown, Zigzagging Towards the Light, the second song, and Desert Island Questionnaire, the next to the last song. Faves, Time Forgot, the very first song might be my favorite. I think it is. And then Artifact number 1, You Are Your Mother's Child, the writing on that's fantastic. And then this last song, Common Knowledge. But the first and last songs are freaking fantastic. But that gets me to my overall score. I think this whole album is really, really good. You know, I mean, there's 13 songs. In that, you're not going to love every song. There's arrangements on a couple I mentioned, but that's a minor little quibble. So overall on this album, I'm going to be at an 8.25. I think it's really, really good from start to finish. I think Conor's songwriting, as always, is on point. Best songwriter of this century. Him and Jason Isbell. I'll get, there's a 1A, 1B for me, but just fantastic, man. And I know I'm going to do another one next month for Caitlin, so you have to come back and see what that's going to be. So let me know what you think of this album below. What are your favorite songs? Thanks again, Caitlin. And until next time, guys, I will see you.